Hi, I'm Marc Farley. This is a Technology Ridecast, and our special guest today is Phil Gilbert. How you doing, Phil?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, and so you've got one of those confusing Twitter handles. What is it?
Yeah, I have. It's Gilber. It's my first name and my second name backwards. I do spell them the same. My name isn't Jill. I get that a lot.
It's not Gilles.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, so you were here at the Flash Memory Summit in Santa Clara.
Yep.
And the big news from this week here was the announcement of Seagate's 60 terabyte flash SSD. So what do you see? What do they got?
So the new drive is higher capacity than anything else in the market. I mean, the highest actual production drive today is 16 terabytes versus 60, so it's kind of massive from that perspective. The really big problem with the drive is going to be its I/O density, because it's not going to offer significantly more performance than the 16 terabyte, but it's so much bigger that your kind of IOPS per gig is just through the floor.
Okay, so it doesn't have the traditional application support that other SSDs do. What do you think people will use it for?
So realistically, it's probably going to be used more for archival kind of uses. So it makes sense in an environment where you need lots of capacity, but you really don't need a lot of performance. That kind of starts to make a lot more sense for that drive.
Yeah, but the flash memory is going to be more expensive than spinning disk, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. And when you're talking about in capacity like 60 terabytes, that's it's going to be expensive. It's going to be really expensive. But if you compare it to, if it's 60 terabytes and you compare that to 10 6 terabyte drives, then even if it's 10 times the cost of a 6 terabyte drive, it still actually starts making commercial sense.
Yeah, and I suppose its power utilization would be a lot less than 10 spinning drives.
Exactly. And if you start taking into account, assuming, because it's a flash drive, we can use DG, we can use compression. So one 60 terabyte drive can hold more than 10 6 terabyte drives. So it's even better from that perspective.
Interesting. Do you think there's going to have to be software changes, operating system changes to be able to use it?
Yeah, I would have thought so, because it's the way that you're going to interact with it is going to be so different from the way that you're going to interact with, what I'm going to call like a general purpose SSD. So SSDs now have replaced 10K and 15K spinning disks. We don't operate those the same way that we do, spinning drives. So this is almost like a new tier of SSDs, and it's going to have its own optimizations we're going to need to do to make it work for the kind of workloads we're going to want to see it in.
Yeah, do you know if they've got test units available or when they might be available?
No, I've no idea. No. I would imagine when they unveil stuff like this, they start partnerships with like OEM partners pretty quickly, so I imagine those guys are going to get their hands on it pretty fast.
Well, thanks. This is a good insight into that big drive. It'll be interesting to see how it develops, how people use it,
Yeah.
where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Phil.
No worries.